Yo, Adam.
Are you hungry?
I'm hungry like the wolf.
Like the wolf?
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Welcome, everyone, to 120, episode 120 of Masters of the Forge. I think this is a special episode, Jason. Do you know why?
Because we're going to talk about the space flea bags? I mean...
No, because I'm going to be recording in an environment that does not require us to spend 2 weeks editing. Isn't that special?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Although, my apologies to everyone. My quality may not be where I want it because I just moved and I don't have my studio set up or internet access, so I'm actually hanging out at my mom's house recording while she's off doing things.
Well, I mean, you know, at least it's better than totally dropping entire, like, sections of audio. I mean, there's that.
Yeah. The thing is that, that the Sisters of Battle segment was really, really nice, really cool. And, well, we'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So, Jason...
Yes.
I'd like to start with some fun business, actually, before we go into hobby progress and stuff, because I thought it would be. It's been a long time since anybody left a good review.
Yeah.
Certainly a long time since anyone left a negative review, and we had a couple of really just delightful ones come up in the comment aggregator. That we have on our website, the one that pulls our comments from iTunes. So here's the first one. You know, I didn't even notice this back in February, but this one comes from the United States, and it's a rating of 1. The title is "Don't Waste Your Time." So already we're starting off delightful, a good start here, but it gets better. The hosts have trouble holding coherent conversations. Their subject matter amounts to least effort required, and they do a great disservice to any narrative effort in the hobby. Don't waste your time. So I like that they opened up with, you know, they really hammered home that whole, this is a total waste of your time to listen to this show. I tend to agree. It's a pretty...
Hey, I'm charming. I've been working on that. I'm a delight.
Yes, you are. So I thought that was really cool. It really hits on all cylinders because it not only does it slam our, you know, subject matter, but it also slams our actual ability as podcasters. So I thought that one was nice and well rounded.
Yeah.
You know, and had some nice thought to it.
Yeah.
So
lots of love.
Thanks to that person. The next one is really interesting. I kind of feel like by their name that they're from my area, so I'm not sure who this is specifically. But the title is "Yeah, They Push Their Political Beliefs." So I'm very curious I was very curious to see where we were going with this one. I was hoping that they would maybe have some kind of explanation on that, but unfortunately the comment itself is not very salient. It says the show was awesome when Big Jim was on it. Okay. But now it is a mix of political stuff and 40K. No, I'm not sure. Do we talk about politics on this show? Ever?
Well, I have talked about how Trazen the Infinite is the lost Primarch for the Blood Ravens. Does that count? I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe because like one time we talked about how it would be nice if there were more women represented in our hobby. I don't know. I'm really not sure what they're getting at. We don't really talk about politics. I think this is somebody with an axe to grind who just wants to write a bad review. I don't know. But kudos that was a really nice one too. Not for the same reasons as the first one, but certainly something that we've missed. You know, I feel like you're not legit unless you get some bad reviews, and it has been since the beginning. Since we've gotten a 1, I think the last one was the person who insisted that Firefly was a arguably bad sci-fi, which of course we all disagree with that.
We do.
Oh well.
Good. Now we've got the political discussion. All right.
Right? Maybe that's what they were talking about.
Maybe.
So I also want to thank, I guess it's also nice that a few people jumped in and gave us some good reviews after that.
Yeah.
Archon Scary said that he loves the deep dives into the hobby and lore. Nothing like good hobby humor and an understanding of time and effort we all put into our hobby. Scary's great. He has his own podcast.
YouTube channel.
YouTube channel. I think we have a commercial for it on our show. He's really good. He's getting up there. I think he's #1 Dark Eldar right now in the ITC rankings. Good for him.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
He, at least for a time, he was in the top 10 overall. So that's really cool. And then we have our buddy Joe. He said, we're a great podcast and cover more than the narrative side of 40K. Wonderful balance. And that we do a wonderful job breaking down the narrative materials. So thank you so much. Gary Owen Bryan says we are his favorite 40K podcast.
Really?
And he likes our battle reports and... or he likes battle reports and talk of competitive, but he says that we feed his imagination. So that's really cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
Evil Genius 9 says we're a great narrative podcast. Thank you. And Talarius wrote us a love letter.
Oh. Is it?
Well,
can
hold
we
on.
actually say it online?
Can you cue up the sexy time music, Jason? Just get the.
Let's find the sexy time music.
Get that sexy time music. Thank you. Okay, and all right. Adam and Jason and the past co-hosts have devoted countless hours to bringing a treasure trove of narrative creativity to the Warhammer 40,000 hobby. This isn't mindless banter by a bunch of knuckleheads. These gentlemen are demonstrating how 40K is meant to be played. I can't recommend it enough. They've shown time and time again that you get out of the hobby what you put into it. Don't play Math Hammer. Play the epic story of the 40K universe. Masters of the Forge are consistently doing it right, capital D, capital I, capital R, and are the winningest heroes of the Warhammer community, in my opinion. No contest. Dive in and enjoy.
Wow, that's... Thank you.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah.
That was really nice. Thank you, Talarius.
Yeah.
I think that was a 6 rating. Even though you can only go up to 5, I think that was a 6. So...
It worked in Spinal Tap.
Right? Yeah, exactly. This one goes to 6.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for leaving those reviews, everyone, one and all, bad and good. I mean, I feel I even though the 1 review stoked my ego almost as much as the 5 review, so feeling good about that. And as we all know, that's really what's important. That's stoking my ego. So Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, what have you been up to besides schlepping your goods?
Oh my god.
Well, I'm drinking a cold brew.
Oh, good for you. That sounds wonderful. What have I been working on? So first of all, I want to apologize again for sound quality. I'm recording off my laptop microphone and my soul is literally hurting. I realize that people have this argument about literally versus figuratively, blah, blah, blah. This is actually causing me physical pain. And yeah, but I'll be okay.
What kind of phone do you have, Jason?
Huh?
What kind of phone do you have?
an iPhone, but I don't have Skype on it because I
No, that's here's the thing. It might actually, I mean, I'm not saying we should change it, but it's possible your audio would sound better if you recorded it on your iPhone.
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
Okay.
So apologies everyone on this sound quality. All right, so yeah, I've been moving across. Well, I've been moving across the metropolitan viewing area. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. So I haven't done a whole lot because that happens. I have set up a new hobby space because I'm not completely unpacked, but my hobby space is ready to go because I have problems. So I've still got the same amount of space for painting and whatnot, but I've got a little more storage for terrain. I'm repurposing some storage stuff. Like I had this buffet that has been in my family for a wee bit, and I'm going to turn that into my terrain storage because why not? So speaking about terrain, I actually... You
should, for your hobby bag, for your bag...
Yeah.
This may be an edit point, but for your bag, you may want to put a sticker on it that says...
Ow. Yeah, let's go ahead and edit that. Or not.
Anyways,
yeah.
Go on.
So, I've been... wow, rad. Okay. So, speaking of terrain, there we go. I've been, I picked up a couple of boxes of the Kill Team terrain, like the Sector Municitorium, however, and the Sector Mechanicus. And I've been building those, and those have been fun. The Sector Mechanicus stuff, I mean, that's Shadow War Armageddon terrain mostly, and that's been a lot of fun to build. I didn't know that I would be so happy with it. And then the Munitorium box.
It's not terrible. It's you would think, right? But the fact that it goes together so nicely, it really makes it worth it.
Yeah, like it's modular. You can go through and do all sorts of fun stuff. One of our friends on Discord, Eric, went through and did something really cool with that silo. Like turned it into like a vat of, sentient snot, I guess, maybe. I don't know. And I saw that and thought, I'm not gluing that part to that part because that's awesome. I just got to figure out how to do that. So yeah, all that terrain is so much fun. It's modular. You can swap it around. I still have a bunch of stuff from the Armageddon box that hasn't been built or painted just because I didn't know what to do with all the walkways, but now I've got some better ideas. So yeah, that's been my hobby progress, is just moving and making sure I don't drop boxes of sprues and realizing how much, let me see, how much stuff do I have that's not built? Because I know I had some stuff, but it was based more on, oh, that's funny. My cat just ran off with a plastic bag. Well, it actually had glue on it, and it's taped to the bottom of his foot, but he'll be okay. Yeah, whatever. He'll be fine. So where was I? Oh, yeah. So I kind of realized what I have, what I don't have. Like I've got some of the boxes like Forgebane that aren't completely finished and some other stuff like that, but I have... It's not one of those things where I move and think I need to sell all this stuff. I move and I'm like, hey, I don't have as much stuff as I thought I did. So, does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, no, that's really, really awesome. And it's nice getting reorganized.
Yeah.
I also spent some time reorganizing this past week, after, well, I'll get into it in my hobby progress, but it's good for the soul.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not someone who, if you ever look at my hobby desk, or if you ever look at my desk where I actually do my creative work as part of my job, fine, I'll admit it. It's chaos. Basically, it should be this workspace dedicated to Zinch. It should be...
Out of chaos comes order.
Yeah.
We all know this.
Well, I'm proving that chaos. Cleaning my hobby desk whenever I was moving was just a nightmare because, like, well, I need to save this crap because it makes great basing material, but I got to be out of here by day X. So there was some, there was some bits and stuff that I could not bits. Sorry, there was some rubble and stuff I could have used, but some of it I just chucked because at the end of the day I had to get out of Dodge. Right. So,
right.
But I am completely in my new space. Just I have no internet access.
Okay, cool.
What about you, man?
So, I have been pretty busy. I'm always pretty busy, to be honest.
Yeah.
I did the Albany Exterminatus team tournament, and I got to play in it because, when you have odd numbers with a team tournament, you really don't want people to play alone. So I got to play with Lucas.
Cool.
Yep, he's from Massachusetts, one of Joe's friends, one of our friends. He's a cool guy, and he actually was bringing his Slanesh demons. So I decided, we kind of independently decided that I was also going to bring my Noise Marines, my Emperor's Children. So it turned out that we actually did a pretty good job in the tournament.
Really?
Not only were we very narrative, in our selections, but we won 2 of our games, and our third game was like a narrow thing. It wasn't a blowout, so we did pretty well. So that led me to change my list for the league to replace my Land Raider with an entire battalion of Slanesh demons, and that's a much better list. Anyways, Land Raiders are so terrible. Like, they're just the worst, but whatever. Anyway, that's matched play stuff. Then I have been playing all my league games with my Emperor's Children and having a good time kind of working that out. That last game, like I said, it's a matched play league, so that last game I brought the same kind of list as we used in that team tournament, and it did very well in that last game. But I scored like nothing in that league.
Oops.
But I'm bad at this game. It's fine. So we're really looking forward to doing our upcoming Kill Team League. And I'm definitely going to make it, I'm definitely going to use the campaign rules for that. And our prizes for that one are going to be all door prizes based on how many games you play.
Okay.
Because we don't need it. I don't want it to be like a matched play situation. Games Workshop is sending out materials and stuff. I just don't know. I don't know what's in it yet. Right. So I need to read it and find out what's in it, and we'll adjust from there.
I think our local is actually getting that Kill Team packet. Cool. It's interesting. 8th edition. Well, hold on. Let me go back. 6th and 7th edition basically killed the 40K, gaming down here. But 8th edition has slowly brought it back, and Kill Team seems to really reinvigorated the community. From what I kind of have figured from living down here for a couple of years, or coming back, is everyone likes doing skirmish level kill team games. Like War Mahords was really popular. It's not now, but it was when I first moved here, and so I think I'll be able to get a lot of kill team games in, and I'll probably somehow be involved with this packet now that I live up closer to the game store.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
That'll be good. Yeah, dude. Yeah, definitely good. Try to join in that Kill Team campaign, because that'll be really fun to talk about on the show. Yeah, and maybe we can even get like this episode. We're gonna have some more Kill Team rules, but it'll be nice to do some more rules for Kill Team, because it's definitely a game where people are open to unique things and house rules and homebrew.
Yeah. One thing on Kill Team, because we're on Kill Team, we just released the Kroot rules like a couple of minutes ago. And we've done the Sisters of Battle. And I was thinking, well, this may or may not happen, but Legion of the Damned wasn't in there. And I have a bunch of Legion of the Damned that are staring at me. Well, not right now, but, they show up and stare at me for a little while and then,
And they're kind of the perfect kill team force. I mean, the models aren't great for conversions.
No.
Because there's not much available. They're still all fine cast monopose. So that's tough, but I don't see the rules for them, the narrative for them makes them perfect kill team, units. Yeah. So we'll see. Well, they kind of show up that
odd
they're
times.
kind of good. They're good antagonists almost.
Yeah. Maybe an NPC, they're they're a wandering monster, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think maybe a campaign, maybe an episode on GM led campaigns and stuff like that would be cool. That might be something. I wonder if Matt from Mini Wargaming would be able to find time to talk to us about that, because that's the kind of stuff he does all the time.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, you now have the background on how we create episodes here at Masters of the Forge.
So I've also been building my Caradron Overlords models that I have. I got a couple. I've been writing, articles for not Mini Wargaming, Frontline Gaming, and they provide a little bit of store credit for writing those articles. So I've been saving up. So I was able to pick up 2 more getting started boxes with that. So that I'm up to 3 getting started boxes, and I have 1 unit of Arcanaut Company. I still need several $100 more of stuff, but those are all built. I built everything. I was it was hot here, and I was in the pool, and I didn't feel like doing anything else, so I decided to sit in the pool and build, and it was really nice. It was relaxing as hell, so I was glad to do that. That was a lot of fun. I love the little boatman. It's really cool. I do think I'm going to do those guys as Realm of Shadow, so they're going to be pirate. They're going to be more piratical, and their boats are going to be all run down and rusted and corroded and stuff. So I thought that'll be a fun project, and I'm going to really try really hard to learn more advanced weathering techniques, because my weathering techniques consist of different colored streaking,
right,
and washes and a little stippling. I don't really use any real advanced techniques. There was a really cool article on in the White Dwarf that show how to do the scratches and stuff. So I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna look on the internet for other techniques and try to get that going, because it's time to at least try. I'm probably not going to do it with my orcs still, but the Caradron are elite enough where I should be able to spend a little extra time making them look nice. So
yeah.
See about that.
I don't know if I mentioned this or if you saw this on Discord last night. I decided to go ahead and order the Forge World Death Guard transfers. So I'm going to start working on that as well. Making a 30K trader force, essentially. Not like the big nurgly snotty guys from 40K, but more 30K, very weathered. So I think we're going to be doing a weathering journey here. Da-da-da. Sure.
I am also working on the Skaven Guard.
Yep.
So these are my buddy Curran. Like I said, he helped out with some of my plumbing issues. So in trade, I'm doing some painting for him. Fortunately for me, it's all most of it is already base coated.
Okay.
So that means a lot of the actual work that I hate is done.
Okay, that's
Like
good.
the base
Yeah.
coats are always the most annoying and hardest part of painting. Getting the first initial base coats on it, and he's got most of that done on most of at least the big models, and those are the ones where it's most annoying, so that's fine. So I've already got the Vindicator, the Speeder, the Thunderfire Cannon, and the Storm Raven done as of today. Well, as of last night.
Those look great, man. Yeah, such a great paint job on imaginative conversions. I mean,
Yeah, he did a great job on those conversions.
Yeah.
So Skaven Guard are exactly what you think they are. It's Space Marines with Skaven bits and Skaven heads. There's a whole narrative to it for his army. It's fantastic. We'll talk. Well, I'll try to do a short segment on it when I'm done. But it's really funny. So my next one I'm going to work on today before we go to the fair is the Imperial Knight. I'll see if I can't get that finished up today. Because again, it's all the base coats are on except the shoulder pads. He wants yellow, so that'll be a few layers.
Yeah, that'll take a bit
on there. So it'll be like apply yellow to the shoulders, paint something over the entire model, put yellow on the shoulders, paint something else on the model.
Yeah,
paint yellow shoulders. Like it'll be multiple coats. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. It's going pretty quick. The infantry is going to take a little bit longer. A lot of that is just primed, so I'll have to a lot of that'll have to be just redone, so, or from the ground up. But that's fine. So that's fun. I'm preparing for Cruise Hammer. I have no idea what I'm bringing. Actually, I think I do. I think I'm bringing orcs.
Okay.
I don't think I'm not having fun with my demon orcs right now in Age of Sigmar.
Right.
And and I don't want to bring my Seraphon because they are not well painted. I mean, they're okay, but they're not my best of my ability. I think I'm just going to bring my 40k orcs and I'll play those. Okay. And that's fine. I like those guys. It'll be early October, so I don't think I'll be able to use the new codex. But that's fine also. I don't care. It'll be fun. I don't think it's going to be super competitive on a cruise ship. I don't think anybody's going with the intention of really competitive match play. It is match play tournament, but I don't think people are going to be crazy. So we'll have fun with that. But that's about it. That's all I got going on right now besides podcast stuff. So let's see. What do we have for announcements? We have a few things coming up, I guess.
Yeah.
We have a lot of orc releases coming. I can't personally give any speculation on it, but I know we're all very excited about these models.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The new buggies are pretty sweet looking. And
they are so rad.
War boss on a trike.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much. Yeah.
Super great. Which is something nobody really thought we were going to get, right?
Right.
It's something we thought was just not going to be in the codex because there's no model for it, but clearly
there is now.
They've decided. Well, it's such a popular model. It's such a popular rules to have a super fast war boss to go alongside your super fast models. So that's really great. I like that a lot. The buggy with a teleporter on the back of it. I mean, yes. How much faster can you get than instantaneous? You don't. You just don't. It doesn't happen. Right.
That you have a point there. Yes. Another announcement. I'm actually excited about the new Commissar Kane book. It was announced yesterday. Yeah, they're a bit formulaic, but they're always fun. We talk about how 40K doesn't really have fun stories. They're like always grim dark. But the Kane books are typically they're fun. Because you're following the exploits of, spoilers, a commissar who's kind of a coward. And it doesn't want to have anything to do with any battles and whatnot, and how does he live through things? And he obviously has horrible luck because he keeps getting thrown into the thick of all the fighting. But it's an interesting character. I'm glad that there's a new book. So
Nice.
Adam, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So Beyond the Fringe. My
Yeah.
Beyond the Fringe today is Friends. F as in Frank. RAN as in Nancy. Z. Friends.
Okay.
It is a application that you can use. It's basically a feature less fully featured web browser, really.
Okay.
With a UI that's designed to make the best use of chat programs or chat sites.
Okay.
So you can feed it your Slack information, your Discord information, your Facebook Messenger information, your Google Hangouts information, etc., your Twitter DM info, and it all gets surfaced in this one application.
Huh.
So you have one application for all of your chats. So you don't have to have 100 tabs open in your web browser.
Yeah. Okay. That's nice. That's actually a possibility.
Yeah, Sam from the Adeptus Terra podcast said he was using it because his work uses Slack, and so does mine. And so I have so many places that I go for chat that it really is nice. It's been really helpful for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't always, not all of the notifications come through for Discord, but that's not really the one I care about for notifications anyways. I'll just go to Discord if I want to read Discord.
Yeah.
And I get those notifications on my phone anyways.
Yeah.
This is a desktop application, so yeah, I really like that. That's my Beyond the Fringe for this episode.
And since I'm moving, my Beyond the Fringe is there's metal shelving from Lowe's that is kind of modular, that you can adjust the shelf height and whatnot. They have rolling wheels, so that's been kind of cool for me. I realized the storage option, it's not sexy like a web app or an app. But hey, man, you cannot believe how many of those campaign boxes that GW has been releasing fits on each one of those. Quite nice.
That's awesome. That sounds great, dude.
Yeah, I picked up a few, so that's why I'm like kind of stoked about storage, because I've got more now. So, anything else before we wander off into the lore of the great companies?
No, I don't think so. Oh, why don't we go over these Kroot rules segment beforehand. But yeah, we'll take a quick break, and because I just drank an entire thing of cold brew. All right,
Okay.
We'll be right back. Greetings, mofos.
Are you out of George Dickel number 8, staring at a broken chess machine?
Don't want to spend the rest of the year tied to that couch?
Well, why don't you head on over to the 1 Hour a Night Facebook page and see what exciting stuff is going on there. It's a place to post all your daily progress in the hobby grind, as well as receive and give positive feedback. Also, there are usually a few interesting challenges going on.
That's right. All you have to do is search for 1 Hour a Night on Facebook. That's numeral 1 hour a night, all one word. Blood serum tests will be administered prior to approval.
Se til helvete og kom dere vekk. Det er ikke ei bikkje, det er en slags ting. Den imiterer ei bikkje, men det er ikke det. Kom dere vekk, idioter!
What he said.
Are you looking for a pressure-free hobby Facebook group? Hobby Streak. Are you looking for a community where you can keep your hobby progress on track? Hobby Streak. Do you want a Facebook group that focuses on all aspects of the hobby? Hobby Streak. Hobby Streak is a Facebook group for building, painting, list building, playing games, and everything in between. Hobby Streak. Post daily updates showing or telling about your progress for friendly and helpful support from a great community. Try Hobby Streak today.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the SHEW, SHEW, the SHEW.
Okay.
So we're talking about crew kill teams real quick. Came up with some unique rules for this game so that you can play with your crew in games of kill team. Again, I think the reason why it wasn't done initially is because of the lack of options in the models and the range. And if you included Kroot along with Tau, I think it would have given them somewhat of a they would have a little too much of a varied like stable to work with.
Okay,
They
yeah.
wouldn't be as specialized, and they would be a lot more. I think the Tau would be a lot more powerful with a bunch of Kroot, just because they would have that chaff that is not bad at close combat, and it would make them very flexible. And I think that would have made them a little too powerful, to be honest. But I think having Kroot as their own faction is not terrible. I think it would work, you know.
Yeah.
I say why not? Why not go for it and give a try at some house rules.
Yeah. So let's talk about these. So I read these during our short break because you just released them.
Yeah, like this morning.
What do you want to talk? How do you want to go over this? Do you want to go over their stats, or do you just want to go ahead and go their abilities? Or
I think the stats are the same as in. The stats are exactly the same as they are in 40K. So we don't really need to. The main thing is that they have a movement of 7 inches and their save is 6+ pretty much across the board.
Yeah.
So like they are squishy and quick. They're like Orc Eldar almost. And that's what Kroot have kind of always been. They have a regular Kroot. So we have the first unit is the Kroot Carnivores, and they're just the regular Kroot, and they're armed with a Kroot rifle. Instead of the full-blown HQ version of the Kroot Shaper, we have it kind of as almost more of a sergeant type.
Yeah.
We give that character 3 wounds. And set that at 11 points. So similar to the Orc Knob, except a little less powerful.
Okay.
The Carnivores themselves are 6 points each. They're kind of less strong physically in combat than Orcs, but they have the gun, which makes them nice. They still might be a little cheap. Yeah. So I'd love for folks to try them out. The Shaper has a Ritual Blade. The Kroot and the Carnivores and the Shaper have the Stealthy Hunters rule. So when you make a hit roll for a shooting attack that targets them, they're obscured, that hit roll suffers an additional -1 modifier. This is identical to the Commandos and some other units.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that rule.
Yeah, I mean, with a 6+ save, you kind of need something like that.
Right.
They have the adaptation. They have the adaptation rule, which we'll cover in a minute. That's kind of an army-wide rule.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Carnivores have the appropriation rule.
Mm-hmm.
So a Kroot Sniper Specialist may upgrade their Kroot Rifle to any weapon available to a Tau Pathfinder or Fire Warrior at the same points value as the Tau Kill Team. So that means that they can take some of the crazy special items, special weapons, or even just the regular, like I think it's called a pulse rifle,
right?
That the Tau have, and you can easily modify that with your modification skills. I know that Bill has done a great job modifying his Tau Fire Warriors to be critty.
Yeah.
If you take a demolition specialist, they are immediately equipped with photon grenades, which they normally don't have. In narrative play, I would say why not allow the crew to take weapons from any faction?
Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah, especially we didn't talk about the adaptation rule, but I think that goes really well, and it works very well with the adaptation rule that we'll talk about in a little bit. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
Specialists, any crew carnivore can be a combat, demolitions, medic, scout, or sniper specialist.
Mm-hmm.
A shaper can be a leader, comms, or veteran specialist.
Oh, that could be fun. Especially a veteran specialist with that ritual knife. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to the crew hounds.
Mm-hmm.
They're also really cool. They have the voracious predators rule, which is that they can reroll failed charges.
Mm-hmm.
They also have the adaptation rule.
Yeah.
They can only be combat or scout specialists. So they're these fast little kind of buffer units almost. You probably, they're kind of serve the same purpose as Gretchen and whatnot, in that they just give the crew a peace of mind when they're standing nearby.
Yeah.
To give them a little bit of a leadership bonus when they're making those nerve tests. They're also, not terrible. They have a couple of attacks each. They get in there. They're good boys. They're good. They're a good boy.
Good boy. Yeah.
Good crew hound. Yeah, I like those. I like those guys. Then we have the Crutox Riders. I debated up and down whether to add these,
right?
Because they're these big kind of lumbering things that I'm like, I don't know if this would be appropriate for a kill team.
But you do have them as 30 points each. So yeah, that's not bad. That's I thought about it more, and I actually dumped their points down to 25 just because they have that 6-up save. Yeah, and they've got T5. Wait, hold on. I'm not going to go too far into the numbers, ladies and gents, but they look like they're...
it's a good conversation to have, because I was like, oh, well, would they even be a part of a kill team is what I was wondering, right? They're so big. Yeah. But we're talking about Kroot here. Kroot can be very stealthy, and the Crutox actually have hands.
Right.
They can climb and stuff. So I'm like, if any cavalry were to be part of a kill team, I think the Crutox would be.
So their stat line looks to be very similar to the Hive Guard and the Nid's Codex?
Yeah, something like that.
So and Hive Guard are allowed in kill team, right? I don't have the book with me, or they have been in the past.
Well, lictors certainly are, and those are pretty big, but they're naturally sneaky. And I think the Crutox are also being Tau at all. Yeah. And the fact that they're still part of this scouting, ranging ahead force makes them an okay choice for kill team. I don't think it's beyond the pale to add them as kill team members.
I think they work. I think just kind of getting an idea of, you could go with the narrative of it's a forward scouting party of some sort. That would be a really easy narrative list to build. And so I'm good with it. I think it works. I think it works quite well.
All right, cool. I'm glad. So those guys are really cool. I'm having trouble with my keyboard here.
Okay. Well, do you want me to go ahead and talk about the special rules then?
Sure, go ahead.
Great, because so special rules, the one we keep kind of dancing around is the adaptation, which I really dig this special rule as I was reading it. So adaptation. The Kroot are genetically flexible species and can learn new abilities simply by devouring their enemies. I love that sentence, but let me continue. At the start of the game, one member of your team may be temporarily upgraded based on the natural predilections of your opponent. Select an enemy specialist other than the leader. One of your models that is not already a specialist has that model specialism too. The specialism can be normally not available to Kroot, or one your team already has. The specialism is obtained at level 1, regardless of the enemy specialist level. Sorry guys, I'm having problems saying the word specialist today. This specialism disappears when the battle has concluded. So I really dig that because our buddy Bill, known as Plain Show, some of you may know him from DACA, he's gone through and really kind of geared his Tau list to be very Kroot themed. And it was because of this bit of lore, with them devouring their enemies and gaining their, knowledge or specialisms or, abilities. And he really dug that. And so I've always kind of seen the Kroot like that. And this adaptation special rule does really, really touch on that piece of lore. So I'm liking it. I'm digging it.
Good. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, it's nerdy. It's very narrative. So yeah, I just it seems like it's a lot of fun. And what is it? Kill Team is all about what kit bashing can you do, what conversions can you do, and that could allow the Kroot to just kind of go nuts, I guess. The next special rule is Fieldcraft. So in the scouting phase, a Kroot kill team may select 2 strategies instead of just 1. Oh, that could be fun. That could be quite fun. I could think of some fun, what is it? In the scouting phase, you can go through and essentially sabotage stuff. So I'm assuming, can you use the same strategy twice or just 2 strategies?
The strategy, I think it would have to be. It wouldn't really help to do the same one twice, but I probably should specify.
Sorry, gamer got a game. So, and in war gear, we won't go into too much detail there, but you have the Kroot rifle. It has both the melee and a shooting profile.
Yeah, that makes them pretty flexible.
Yeah, and they need that.
The melee one puts them up to strength 4, which is really nice.
Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it? Okay, yeah. Then the Kroot gun, Krootox fists, which is a melee attack, and the ritual blade, which the ritual blade is carried by the Seeker. So, or not Seeker,
right.
Shaper. Sorry.
Yeah, and that one is the only one that has any weird special abilities. It's if any enemy models are destroyed by that weapon, friendly Kroot enjoy a -2 to nerve tests that round.
Oh, I did not see that part of that rule. Okay.
Yeah, so if you get up in there with that ritual blade, the whole team is going to benefit from your risky behavior.
Okay. Yeah. We didn't really talk about this, but you can take 2 Shapers if you wish.
Right. You're maxed out at 2 Shapers and 1 Krootox Rider.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So, yeah. So I had a lot of fun with this. Also, everybody, don't forget that we also have a Adeptus Sororitas kill team, kill team add-on on the site as well. There's actually now I've rearranged the download section on our website. It's actually the page is called On Your Tabletop. So if you click in the top menu on our website, mastersoftheforge.com, go to On Your Tabletop, and then all of the 8th edition content is listed by house rules and scenarios. And then we have another section called Kill Team Content. And these rules can be found down there under that heading. So Great. Thanks a lot, dude, for engaging in that one. I hope that these rules get some play testing. I would really appreciate it if folks would go to the site and give them some play testing. I'm probably going to allow both the Kroot and the Sisters of Battle rules in our league when we do it. So
because you have Alexis and you have Bill, because Bill will run with Kroot. He'll find that hilarious. Gosh, I almost want to build Kroot now.
I know. Well, it's some pretty interesting modeling opportunities with the with that appropriation rule. So that should be a lot of fun. And I think that the I don't know. I just felt very inspired by it when you said, "Hey, why don't you try doing some Kroot?" And I was super inspired by some of the really fun stuff in the Kroot that, you know, at first glance might be kind of milquetoast or generic, but when you look at the kill team rules and try to fold it in, I think, you know, like using that fieldcraft for example, instead of just scouting them, give the player the option to do an additional thing in the scouting phase. You know, I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Anyways,
why
don't we take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll start talking about the great companies of the Space Wolves.
Hello, everyone. The Masters of the Forge is now a proud member of the NPC, the Narrative Podcast Consortium. Our aim is to inspire your hobby through the rich lore of the 41st millennium. If you enjoy our podcast, then make sure to check out these other awesome shows where you can get coverage on campaigns, Black Library, and all kinds of general topics of the 40K background.
The NGC 40K podcast also provides in-depth campaign coverage, audio dramas, and free-flowing narrative campaign creation.
The Adeptus Terra podcast also features in-depth discussions of the lore and commentary on the hobby.
Oh, and sexy English voices.
Oh, yeah.
The Masters of the Forge brings the world of 40K to life on your tabletop, with discussion on the lore, backed up by narrative-themed rules and battle reports.
Of course, this is only a fraction of the topics covered by the podcasts of the NPC. Please tune in to find out more.
Hey, Masters of the Forge listeners, are you looking to expand your Warhammer 40,000 gaming group?
Do you want to start a 40K club in your area?
Do you want the people you attract to be like-minded mofos?
Do you want to advertise your YouTube channel?
Or even attract more subscribers to your hobby blog or online community?
Then what better way than to advertise on the Masters of the Forge podcast?
All we ask of you is that you email us at mastersoftheforge@gmail.com or message us on Facebook with a full text of your advertisement, including the region in which you live and any contact information people can use to get a hold of you.
We will have one of our many tech servitors read your advertisement on the air. We promise not to make fun of you.
Though we can't always predict the actions of our servitors, you really can't find good help these days.
No, you can't. Welcome back. So this episode, we wanted to break down all the great companies of the Space Wolves. I know that the codex did not provide any special rules for each of the great companies. Now, each of the characters is so unique, and I think that, in my opinion, the characters really make the Space Wolves Codex. And as we'll discuss in my interview with Phil in the second half of the episode, it's really all about the characters, and the characters bring their character to the great company. We'll talk more about that in a second. So it's not so bad that there aren't special rules for the great companies, simply because that's how the codex works. That's how the army works. Yeah. That's how their lore works. However, having said that, I have created a special stratagem for each of the great companies. And we'll talk about those as we go over each one, okay? And you can tell me whether you think it's crap or not, or we can change it. So let's first talk about Space Wolves in general really quickly. Again, this isn't a let's talk all about all the things about the Space Wolves, because no.
Oh God, how many episodes would that be? We would be
It would
here
be fair.
forever.
You could have an entire podcast. Like Big Jim has been threatening to do a podcast. Like, Big Jim, why don't you do a Space Wolves, Chaos Space Marines podcast? That's all you talk about.
He should do a Space Wolves podcast.
Well, what he could do is he could do, okay, this is the Space Wolf, this is the Bad Boys of 40K podcast, and you could release twice a month, and alternate between Chaos Space Marines and Space Wolves.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
Yeah.
Podcast idea completed, Big Jim.
Yeah,
Balls in your court. Balls in your court, Fluffy. All right. Anyways, the Space Wolves have ever been the Emperor's judicators. They have made it their unending mission to hunt down and bring justice to other Space Marines who have gone astray. They often consider themselves above Imperial law. They always consider themselves above Imperial law, coming to blows with the likes of the Inquisition and the Flesh Tearers. All manner of legitimate imperial factions, because they refuse to ignore their own moral code and sense of honor. In most of these cases, it's the deaths of innocents at the hands of other factions in the Imperium which cause enmity between themselves and the Space Wolves.
That is one thing I do like about their lore. You know, they're not the quote unquote most human of the legions, because I think that goes to the salamanders. You know, hands down every time. But they do have that sense of honor, that code that's quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So at least the Space Wolves and the Dark Angels have the class to codify their feud, actually dueling each other before every battle in which they take part. Although sometimes that accidentally results in the death of one of the combatants and a bloody melee ensues. But whatever. It's totally cool.
That's the price of doing business with the Dark Angels and the Space Wolves. I mean, that's just how it goes. So, recent history. So, this is kind of interesting. We have, recent history have, what was it, the Magnus books, where all that happened. And then we had the, fall of Cadia.
And we have two entire episodes devoted to the whole Fenris Magnus thing.
And then also, I'm not sure if how close of an eye people keep on Black Library. They've got kind of this stealth series that they've been releasing called Space Marine Conquests, and that series is, because there used to be there still is Space Marine Battles, and that's always looking specifically at single, not campaigns, but single areas. But the Conquest is looking specifically at what's happening after Gilliman has returned. Mostly looking at Primaris, what's happening with the Primaris, how are each of these, older legions, such as Space Wolves or Dark Angels, how are they dealing with the Primaris? And I think the one for the Space Wolves is from, I think Gav did it, but I can't remember. Anyways, let me get to the recent history, get back on where I'm supposed to be on the show notes. Here we go. All right, so as we're all aware, Magnus assaulted Fenris and brought ruination and the deaths of many important and promising warriors. With the help of the Grey Knights, which surprisingly the Space Wolves haven't fought, but give them a chance, and the Axe of Mordecai, Magnus was eventually banished. The threat
I think the Space Wolves killed a bunch of
Grey Knights.
They fought. I think, someone was talking about it on a show. Yeah, there's a whole thing where they were straight up murdering each other.
Yeah, that's actually in some of the short stories, I think.
When the Inquisition was trying to cleanse a planet. It was Armageddon. First War of Armageddon, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, we got to do the Wars of Armageddon sometime so we can get all that shit straight. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, the threat escalated on Cadia, where many Space Wolves fought to maintain control of that world. Sadly, the Imperium failed, and many Space Wolves are counted among the missing, as Cadia itself has been transformed into a broken demon world. That last part there, the broken demon world, just sounds like the beginning of an epic campaign.
That's right.
I mean, there's a kill team huge campaign just in those 3 words.
Oh, absolutely. Where you're trying to find the lost members of the, like, there are a couple great companies that are heavily involved in that, and you could write a whole campaign based on either the retrieval of them or their escape from Acadia.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how little lore, like, I'm going to call them tidbits, like almost, like dog
Bites.
treats. Yeah, bites,
just dog treats.
Yeah, dog. Wow, I went there. Of course I went there.
This episode is going to be all full of that.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got this little dog treat here that you could actually build, like, some amazing campaigns. And this is just me looking at the notes, thinking, hey, how can we do this? What's out there? All right, I'll continue because lore. All right, so after the coming of the Great Rift, Robo G, Bobby G, or Rubute Gilimon, comes to Fenris and gifts the great companies with new Primaris Marines. Of course, these Space Wolves have not taken the test of Mordecai. They've never even stepped foot on Fenris. As such, there is much division among the rest of the Wolves as to whether they should be accepted or shunned as obvious plants, sent to force them to bend to authority. Something these Space Wolves have rarely been good at. In the end, Logan Grimnar strongly suggests to his Wolf Lords that they accept the gifts and quit their belly aching. So, yeah.
Yeah, so dun. The Primaris Wolves show their quality in a deadly engagement with the forces of Magnus in the Stygia sector, specifically the crystallized world of Tarkhan. Now, I don't know. I meant to look that up. Hold on. Hungry like the wolf. Oh, Tarkhan is a singer. A Turkish singer-songwriter since the early 1990s. With the success sales of his albums, he has been a prominent figure in the Turkish pop music, being known in both Turkey and Europe. Okay. Let's narrow our results to Warhammer.
No, I like that result.
Tarkin. Hungry like the wolf. I don't know any other parts of that. Assault on Tarkin. Okay, so apparently there is not much
on there.
It's a very thin. It's the whole Warzone Stygius thing, which I think is probably going to the invasion of the Stygius sector, major battle at the end of the 13th Black Crusade. It's just a part of that whole thing, so it hasn't really been expanded on yet, but I'm sure it will be.
I'm wondering if this is out of Gav's book. I think his Space Marines Conquest book is, if I remember correctly, Ashes of Prospero.
Okay, that's cool. That'll probably work. I haven't read it yet. This is all coming from the codex, so I think maybe I'm sure there's some Black Library stuff that's attached to that.
Yeah.
At first, it's thought that the Primaris Space Wolves are immune to the ravages of the Curse of the Wolfen. This is eventually proven to be false when a group of Inceptors fighting alongside some Wolfen succumb to the savagery. Eventually, the Primaris are allowed the honor of taking the test of Mordecai, braving the Fenrisian elements, and most coming out of it as proper Space Wolves.
This is this right here. Like, there's so many kit bashing. Yeah, that's big news. Yeah. That is kit bashing. That is all sorts of fun, crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm. And it's reflected in the rules of the book as well. Yeah. The Rune Priests seem to believe that the return of both the 13th Company and Guilliman were not only foretold, but also mark the coming of the Wolf Time. Logan grants Niall Stormcaller permission to have Bjorn awaken so that they may discuss these matters. Nothing is known of their meeting. I don't know if that is detailed in the novel either. I really should read that. That's something, or any Space Wolf lover needs to get up with the times and read those books.
Well, they've Black Library's kind of been like doing a stealth release of these, or at least I haven't noticed them until like a week or 2 or 3 weeks after they've been released. So they're there.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a little nuggets for your for the faithful, or sorry, dog treats for the faithful, I guess.
Okay, so that's the recent history coming out of the Codex, which those already, there's a lot of promise just in that small area. So how do the great companies work? The Space Wolves are still referred to as a legion because they have never been divided along Codex Astartes lines. Rather, the Space Wolves still run at more or less legion strength and are divided into 12 great companies. For those that are, Space Wolf aficionados,
it's old news. Yeah.
Yeah, they did try, if I remember correctly, and split, and they had one or two successor chapters, and let's just say it didn't work, and I think they had to hunt their own guys down. Yeah, it was bad news.
That was a bad call.
Yeah. All right, so the Space Wolves are an adaptive and pragmatic chapter, and the way they are organized reflects this. The great companies are not static like Space Marine chapters. Their deeds are not inherited from generation to generation. They are still remembered in story and song, but the great companies themselves are characterized by the Wolf Lord who commands them.
Yeah, so that's part of the reason why I think that special rules for great companies are not really all that necessary. You're characterized by your lord, not by your company.
So whenever a great company changes hands to a new Wolf Lord, he brings with him his own heraldry and his own style. Some great companies maintain their traditions, and this is the case of the Grimbloods, which have been active for thousands of years under different Wolf Lords. The Grimbloods are interesting. We'll go into that more later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, others are just transformed totally. As such, Space Wolves often change allegiance from one great company to another as the company's focus on their own sensibilities change over time. When Ragnar Blackmane avenged his dead liege Beric Thunderfist, the company took his name and was forever transformed by his own style. I think that's more common than the former. I think it's more common that a Wolf Lord takes over and everything changes based on their kind of style. And some Space Wolves will... There's no hard feel... Well, okay. Supposedly there's no hard feelings, when they change. Yeah. But also that means some other Space Wolves might join the company because they're like, oh, well, this guy is more in line with the way I think. I'm going to go to this other company instead. And as Space Wolves age, they become more tempered. They become more wise and slow to anger. And sometimes they'll just change because of that. Because, maybe their Wolf Lord is this firebrand, and they just get older and they're like, you know what? I don't need this kind of, I don't need this temperament in around me. I'm going to go to a more mild-mannered, cunning Space Wolf leader instead.
Yeah, one of the things that, so I know people laugh about how whenever Carl and the independent characters do like a focus on, Zinch or whatever, and all of a sudden they're buying stuff from there. But as so as I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking of all the ideas, the narrative possibilities. Like maybe you have a long fang. That's what happens when they get old, or that's what they're called when they're older. That has been in several different companies, and he hasn't gone through and stricken all of those marks from those companies. Like he's with whatever he ends up with. But maybe he has other stuff that on his armor that shows where he's been and who he is. And that could be a really interesting modeling and narrative, opportunity. Yeah.
I like that idea. That's really fun.
Yeah, great. This is... I've not had a whole lot of interest in Space Wolves just because let's keep the hobby ADHD squirrel at bay a little bit longer, but squirrels, dogs, amusing. But let's,
just keep on filling that air, Ben. I'm eating some almonds.
Well, it's interesting how you can go through and do some really cool stuff there. And I don't see myself as someone who would ever be a Space Wolves player, but I can see a lot of possibilities that are beyond, the more surface things that I don't particularly like about the Space Wolves. So
right. That's cool. And without there being a great company rule tying you down, and you being focused more on the characters, you can do that without any problem whatsoever. without having to juggle detachments, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So let's talk about let's go ahead and start talking about the different great companies.
Okay.
I'm basically glossing over the Champions and Fenris.
Yeah, because
Logan Grimnar's great company. It is an elite Space Wolf company, right? Logan Grimnar's great company, once called Night Runner, is a disciplined and proud lot boasting a large number of Wolf Guard in comparison to other great companies because they're there to protect the Great Wolf. Logan has a storied saga over 700 years.
Wow.
He was there at the First War of Armageddon.
So what you're saying is we could, if Big Jim, hold on, I'm going to push Big Jim's buttons real quick. So if Big Jim decided to do a podcast, he could do like 2-3 episodes just on Logan. What do you think?
Oh, at least.
Okay.
At least, yeah, for sure. Because he's all intertwined in all the recent history.
Yeah.
So yeah. He has been active since the First War for Armageddon, has survived single combat with countless powerful foes, including Bloodthirsters, remember?
Yeah.
From the End Time series, or whatever the heck we called it.
Yeah.
And Magnus himself. He fought Magnus.
Yeah.
He would have been killed by Magnus if you recall, what's his name, shot a las cannon and the las cannon blew up in his face. Iron Wolves guy. Anyways, we'll talk about him later anyways. So that they are the elite. I think back in the day you used to be able to take Wolfguard as troops or something. I forget. Yeah. But we have detachments for that now. If you're going to be running Champions of Fenris, just bring a lot of Wolfguard and Logan and kill stuff in your Terminator armor. That's basically what they do. The stratagem for them that I came up with is called Coordinated Assault. For 2 command points, 1 Champions of Fenris Wolfguard unit in your army gain the Space Wolf equivalent of Objective Secured. I am sorry, I'm super lazy and forgot to find out what that was called. I'll definitely find out what it was called before, because I gave Phil the codex. I'll find out what that is before I publish the rules.
Yeah. Okay. Good idea. All right. So next up, we're going to go through the companies. We're not going to go strictly into the companies too much in depth because Big Jim's going to do that in his new podcast. Wow, I'm writing checks for Jim that he isn't even aware are being cashed. Okay, so the Blood Maws. Brand Red Maw's great company is known for their terrible savagery in battle. They charge forward and literally rip into the enemy. However, that is not to say they don't boast Astartes' tactical mind. Grey Hunters, Wolf Scouts, and Longfangs back up the Wolfen and Bloodclaws by setting up cunning ambushes while the enemy is busy dealing with their savage foe. I like that. That's a nice, interesting thing to do.
They're very wolfy.
Oh yeah, very wolfy. Yeah, run or get the pack to surround and cause issues. Still, Bran is not without an altruistic streak. His sense of loyalty and honor is no different from any other space wolf. For example, his company was once drawn into a conflict between the Imperium and High Fleet Colossus, even after receiving orders to withdraw. When the few surviving Blood Maws succeeded in saving many lives, the High Command demanded their censure. Instead, Bran gave them commendations, because that's what you do.
Yeah, Space Wolves, when authority tells a Space Wolf what to do, they get the double deuce.
Yeah, they do. Their totem is the Bloodied Hunter, representing the hunt under the full moon. Their narrative stratagem is Move In for the Kill, which is 2 command points. Use the stratagem after selecting a unit to charge with in your charge phase. Draw an imaginary line between one model in that unit and a model in a unit of Wolf Scouts which just arrived from reserves. If your unit declared their charge against an enemy unit that lies along that imaginary line, then you may add 2 inches to your charge distance, so long as you end the unit's charge move within 1/2 inch of that unit. Well, that's pretty cool. That reminds me a bit of there's one of the Raven Guard rules in 7th edition that was kind of similar, where you would take one unit and then you'd have a scouting unit to help give you telemetry data. That I like that. I dig that. I think that's really fluffy.
Yeah, I figured that really represented well the kind of pincher attack, and as long as the enemy unit you're charging is between those two units, you get an extra inches on your charge.
Yeah, that's cool.
Next, we have the Drake Slayers. Wonder what they do.
Oh, I love Drake these Slayers. Guys. Hold on. I want everyone to know I love these guys. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, is this the one? Well, yeah, okay. There's another group that I like more, but these guys are funny. Go ahead, sorry.
The Drake Slayers have a deep connection to fire and flame, both from a totemic perspective and a psychological one. There's a couple like that. Anyways, the Wolf Lord Crom Dragongaze is a fierce competitor and boasts an indomitable will. As with most men of his nature, his greatest competition is his own incredible record, which he constantly tries to best. So, a lot of people they compete with other people, but they're also competing with their own record, with their own past. Crom's stare, even with a cybernetic implant, is so terrifying that he has earned the nickname Fierce Eye. Yeah. He's got a giant relic frost axe and sports a sweet mohawk and braids off his temples. So this is the newer. I think he was from the Stormclaw box set.
Was he? Okay.
Crom is not without controversy, however. His temper is legendary, and he makes little effort to quench it. He has been known to literally punch understanding of his position into other men. He is not happy unless he's in the forefront of the battle, and he sees it as a slight if Logan does not afford him that honor. They don't really get along. So the narrative Drake Slayer's stratagem is called Competitive Streak for 1 command point. Use this stratagem when a Drake Slayer's unit destroys an enemy unit. They land the killing blow with a power level equal to or greater than their own. All other Drake Slayer's units within 3 inches of that Drake Slayer's unit add +1 to their attack rolls until the start of their next turn, because they're encouraged to do better than the unit that just killed things. So I thought that was really cool.
I'm trying to remember, that seems familiar. Is there another rule?
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
It doesn't? Okay.
No.
All right, cool. The Black Mains. I'm just going to go with it. Going to keep running. All right, so Ragnar Blackmane is a young and capable wolf lord. His company is renowned for their lightning warfare. They prefer to strike a planet with furious drop pod assault. Blackmane does not attack blindly, though, for he makes liberal use of wolf scouts and reavers in order to get intelligence on the enemy's position and weaken their defenses before making his drop. So, Ragnar's deeds are impressive. He got his name on the day of his trial of Mordecai when he battled and slew the Fenrisian black-maned wolf. Even as a Bloodclaw, he showed incredible instincts. When a ruined priest displayed erratic behavior during a mission, Blackmane lopped off the priest's head and revealed that it had been a Thousand Sun sorcerer the whole time. So when I read the notes the first time, I actually laughed there also before we started recording, because
well, he didn't ask questions either. He just did it. He just and it's a Thousand Sun sorcerer. But you gotta owe that to, normally that's a bad idea to just randomly knock someone's head off. Yeah. But Space Wolves sometimes have this preternatural sense, kind of, the kind of thing that is ascribed to the wolves. Yeah. To a wolf, this instinct is probably not just instinct. It probably is kind of psychic related as well. So he knew something was up with him.
Yeah, in any other location, HR would be giving him a call. So,
well, HR did give him a call. Like a lot of the other kind of council members were a little taken aback by what he did, even though he ended up being right. They were like, dude, you can't just knock people's heads off.
Yeah. You're going to get you're going to get a letter. It's not going to be good.
You're going to have to take a decision day, and you're going to have to go through anger management counseling.
All right.
Bad dog, no biscuit.
There we go. Okay, we need to work that one in. So after heroic deeds in battle against the orcs, his wolf lord Beric Thunderfist Man, that is a Space Wolf name if there ever was one.
Right? Great name.
Yeah. Okay, so he elevated him to his Wolf Guard. Sadly, Thunderfist would be slain during battle against the World Eaters, and Ragnar blamed himself for it because, at the time, he was consumed by bloodlust and far from his Jarl's side. When he eventually hunted down and slew the Chaos Champion who had killed Beric, he was, much to his own surprise, elected to the position of Wolf Lord. Finally, it was Ragnar whose sword took the life of the Changeling when it tried to sabotage Fenris at the end of the 41st millennium. That's pretty cool. That's a nice little bit of lore. You know, that's a great way to be.
Yeah, I think that was aboard. That was aboard the battle barge, the strike cruiser, the Grey Knight strike cruiser.
Yeah.
At the end of that campaign.
Yeah, I remember reading that. Yeah. Okay. Last part. Narrative Blackmane Stratagem. Drop pod assault proficiency. 1 command point. Use the stratagem when a Blackmane's drop pod is set up on the battlefield. Any Blackmane units which disembark from the drop pod may immediately attempt to charge as if it were the charge phase. Wow. Okay. Shooting's for other people.
Right, so that lets them kind of get a charge in. If you really want to charge and you don't care about shooting, it gives you 1 extra kind of attempt at charging, basically. Because you'll also, if you fail it, you still have a chance to do it in the actual charge phase.
Yeah.
Next, we have the Death Wolves. Harold Deathwolf is the greatest hunter among a legion of great hunters. This partially manifests as an affinity with wolves, which is so pronounced that he's earned the nickname Thunderson, because his companions said he must be the lost son of a Thunderwolf. Harold rides to battle upon his companion, an ancient Thunderwolf named Icetooth. This Thunderwolf has been his mount since before the coming of the Cicatrix Maledictum, so it's like 100 or 200-year-old Thunderwolf.
Yeah, okay.
The Death Wolves often fight alongside packs of Fenrisian wolves of all varieties. Either that or it's like Icetooth 3, kind of like Santa's Little Helper 2.
Yeah.
It's like Icetooth 5. Oops, well, he died. Icetooth 6.
Yeah.
Even more interesting is Harold's champion, Canis Wolfborn, who also rides to battle on a Thunderwolf. It is said that Canis was raised by wolves and brought into the Space Wolf fold as a young man after besting Space Marines in savage combat.
Okay, so a young, unmodified human whooped up on some Space Marines.
Yeah, and then Harold Deathwolf had to come in and whoop on him. And it was just like a wolf fight. Like they fought and fought and fought. And Canis, realizing that he had been bested, bared his throat. He lifted up his throat so that it's a dog thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really interesting. The Death Wolf's icon is the ravening jaw, which represents what the Fenrisians call the wolf time, when Mordecai is supposed to consume all light in the universe and cast darkness over all. So they're a cheery bunch.
Yeah.
The narrative Death Wolves stratagem is loyalty and savagery, 1 command point. Use this stratagem immediately after fighting with a unit that is within 3 inches of a unit of Death Wolves Fenrisian wolves. Those Fenrisian wolves may immediately fight if they have not done so already. So this lets those wolves, they kind of fight together.
Yeah.
And it helps them fight out of turn.
Yeah.
They can break into combat for only 1 command point instead of 2, which is nice.
That's pretty nice. All right, so next up are the Sea Wolves, which I had never heard of these guys before. I realize I'm not a big Space Wolf fan, but dude, and I do like the name of this guy.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Ingir Krakendoom. Release the Kraken! Recruits his great company from the seafaring tribes of the southern islands. These warriors cut their teeth on deadly krakens on the roiling seas of Fenris. As Astartes, they make use of assault craft with Skyclaw and Swiftclaw outriders to overtake their enemies. This is interesting. So the Sea Wolves are a really fun, great company because their exploits read almost as an amalgamation of Pirates of the Caribbean and Star Trek. They once burrowed through a chaos-tainted void whale to plant charges and blow it up. That's hilarious.
Right? Which, oddly enough, created a large nebula of poison. So that's fine.
Yeah, things happen. So their totem is the sea wolf. And I really like the name of the narrative stratagem that you've come up with. It's called Man the Oars, 1 command point. Although they don't really mean actual oars, the Astartes and the Sea Wolves are well versed in the idiosyncrasy. Boy, I'm having a problem with that.
Gotcha.
The idiosyncrasies of Space Wolf transports and can help out in a pinch. Use a stratagem after Sea Wolf's flyer makes an advance roll. That roll immediately changes to a 6, and the model may fire as it simply moved rather than advance that turn. I have another question. Would these guys have Tech Marines? Or
they have Wolf
Marines?
Iron Priests. Iron Priests.
Okay. I see, ladies and gentlemen, that kind of shows what knowledge I don't have of the Space Wolves, so I'm going to work on fixing that. All right. That's good. Next up
is the Sons of Morkai. Eric Morkai and his pack of dour Space Wolves, also a cheery bunch, want you, they want you, mainly Xenos and Heretics, to get off his lawn. He is surrounded by a great many veteran Astartes, such as Wolf Scouts, which he employs in deadly ambushes. The Sons of Morkai should not be confused with a group that is apprehensive or slow to react. Rather, they simply do not debate or quibble over the correct course of action, which is usually a very liberal application of bloodshed. Eric Morkai is featured in the Death Wolf audiobook by Andy Smiley. Their totem is the Sons of the totem of the Sons of Morkai is the 2-headed wolf god of the same name, which is good. We have mowing again. I probably should realize that my neighbor mows on Sundays and we record on Sundays. Anyways, the Morkai, which is this 2-headed wolf that Russ supposedly slew in the early days of Fenris, and that 2-headed wolf god now guards the gates of death. So basically, what do you call it?
Like Cerebus, but with 2
Cerebus,
heads.
That's it. Yeah, he's like the Cerebus. The stratagem that we came up with is Pragmatic Brutality, 2 command points. Use this stratagem when rolling to seize the initiative. You may roll 2 dice instead of 1, taking the highest of the 2 results.
Hey, that seems fun.
Simple, but makes sense for they're very decisive. They just they just do what needs to be done. So
okay, interesting. All right,
they don't sit around trying to make decisions.
No,
just make a decision.
Do it and get it over with. Do it. All right, so next up, the Storm Wolves. Quite the opposite of the Sons of Morkai, the Storm Wolves revel in the cacophony of a battle. Bjorn Stormwolf, their lord, is a huge, restless man who values swift action over careful planning. As such, they prefer saturating their enemy with a barrage of heavy firepower before moving in to clean up what's left. The lore doesn't directly support the fact that this great company goes into battle blasting heavy metal music, but we can assure you that they do. I don't think they're going to have a guy on top of their rhino who's got a guitar that shoots flame. It's possible, but I doubt that one. That seems more orky. The Stormwolf's icon is a Thunderwolf. That's probably a good idea. The narrative Stormwolf stratagem, Scorched Earth Assault, 2 command points. Use a stratagem after a unit of Stormwolf Longfangs or Stormwolf's Vindicator deal unsaved wolves to an enemy unit. A unit of Stormwolf's infantry within 6 inches of the chosen enemy unit may immediately charge that enemy unit as if it were the charge phase. That's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like they're kind of blasting a hole in a unit and then allowing a nearby unit to charge.
Yeah.
Next we have the Fire Howlers. The Fire Howlers are an impetuous group of space wolves who prefer close quarters fighting and jump pack tactics. Indeed, their Jarl also dons a jump pack in battle. Sven Bloodhowl is a boisterous and carefree wolf lord who is living the only kind of life he would ever desire. He revels in battle, leading from the front and laughing all the while. Many in his company refuse promotion as Great Hunter, instead choosing to serve out their entire careers as Swift Claws or Sky Claws. So, like even though the Sea Wolves do have Swift Claws and Sky Claws, the Fire Howlers are even more so, like they don't do boarding actions. They're more just into it for the close combat fighting.
Yeah.
Sven Bloodhowl has been missing since being part of the assault on the Blackstone Fortress, which decimated Cadia.
Yeah.
So for now, his Wolfguard rule in his stead. Their totem is the Fire Breather.
Mm-hmm.
The stratagem is Veteran Claws, 1 command point. Use this stratagem at the start of the game before rolling for deployment. Select one unit of either Fire Howler Sky Claws or Fire Howler Swift Claws. That unit has a 3+ ballistic skill and a 3+ weapon skill for the remainder of the battle. So they're not degraded in that because they're not young and they're not young. They're older.
Okay.
They're still serving as Sky Claws and Swift Claws, so that's why they still get the normal ballistic skill.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm so unfamiliar with the Space Wolves Codex that I'm like having to kind of figure out what people are doing.
They usually have a lower ballistic skill.
Got it. Okay, so like scouts and whatnot. Okay. All right. So next up, the Red Moons. Gunner Red Moon is a huge, boisterous, arrogant space wolf with an eager appetite for food, drink, camaraderie, and battle. Gunner tends to attract other like-minded Astartes such as Longfangs and Aggressors. Their symbol is the Wolf of the Red Moon, a mythical creature that hunts the 7 hells for those deemed unworthy. So the narrative stratagem for the Red Moons, Ancient Camaraderie. And that is 2 command points. Use the stratagem before shooting with a unit of Red Moon Longfangs or Red Moon Aggressors. That unit may, until the end of the phase, target enemy units which are within 1 inch of any Red Moon's character. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so if they're tied up with a character, they can still shoot that unit even though they're supposedly tied up in combat.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to that great company.
No.
That's ripe for fleshing out on your own if you're interested.
Yeah.
In fact, the past couple have been somewhat light in details because they haven't really been extrapolated yet in the lore.
Yeah.
So that's your call. Then we have the Iron Wolves. They're a notorious group. The Iron Wolves are renowned for their mechanized warfare. They feature very prominently in the last campaign, actually.
Yeah.
Although it may at first seem anathema to Space Wolf methodology, in some ways there can be no better example. The caravans of rhinos and vindicators hunt in fast-moving packs, overtaking and circumventing their prey, then mercilessly falling upon them with bloody savagery. So both Eagle, Iron Wolf, and Orvin Highfell were slain in battle to thwart chaos on Fenris and Cadia. The current Wolf Lord, Vorak Gnarlfist, has maintained the Great Company's focus in honor of his fallen brothers. And I guess, this is the kind of company that all of their equipment and everything really focuses on that one brand, that one way of fighting.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's more the company that defines the wolves rather than vice versa. I think this kind of company would attract certain space wolves, and it will for a long time to come.
Yeah. It's an interesting company. It's not what I remember when we first talked about it way back in the Rise of the Primarch series. And I was kind of shocked by it. That there was actually like this kind of mechanized force. And I find them to be quite interesting.
Yeah, and when you do it's true. When you think about it, it just makes total sense that they're this fast moving pack of wolves who they're not actual wolves. They're in rhinos.
Yeah.
So their stratagem is Pack of Iron. 1 command point. Use this stratagem when you would deploy a rhino containing at least 1 unit of Iron Wolves infantry. They may be put into reserves. That rhino and its embarked units may be set up at the end of any of your movement phases, touching the battlefield edge and not within 9 inches of an enemy unit. If that rhino arrives within 6 inches of another friendly Iron Wolves unit, the embarked units may disembark, even if that puts them within 9 inches of the enemy.
Yeah, I think that would.
So, yeah, as long as they do, this is more kind of combined deployment kind of strategies, like this pincer movement. But in this case, it's more assault based.
Yeah, I think that is an interesting. I like that. These guys are intriguing. The whole idea.
Based.
Yeah, they're intriguing. All right, so now we have the Grimbloods. As I was reading our notes earlier today, this is one of the other areas where I actually started laughing out loud, and you'll see why fairly quickly. Jarl Grimblood, or Carl, I don't know, man, I don't.
Coral.
Yeah, him is an accomplished soothsayer and mystic who has been known to see the future in the flames. Yeah, this is going to go great. His great company revels in experimenting with various heretics and Xenos to see if they are flammable. That sentence, hey, what do you think? We need to go ahead and start up a new barbecue. What do you think will work best? So when a Grey Hunter kills his first enemy with flame, he paints his face in bloody flames and has earned the title Red Hunter.
Phrasing. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
The company actually owns at least a dozen Land Raider Redeemers. Refresh my memory. Those are the Land Raiders with the flame storm turrets, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's hilarious. So their totem is the Fire Wolf, which burns eternally without being consumed, a trait that most of their foes don't seem to possess. These guys seem like these guys would be fun to play on the tabletop. I think you could really do some crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah. I've always wanted to do the Grimbloods, dude.
Yeah. So the narrative stratagem for the Grimbloods, which is Fire Wolf's Tongue, 1 command point. Use a stratagem before a unit of Grimbloods makes shooting attacks. All flamer weapons in the unit improve their AP by 1 until the end of their phase. So, for example, a heavy flamer would be improved from -1 to -2. Yeah.
Very simple stratagem.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So then we have the 13th Company. We've talked about this before. I think we did a whole episode on the Wolfen. And we've talked about the Wolfen as, part of the campaign. Honestly, the 13th Company was originally Yoren Bloodhowl's great company. Mm-hmm. And they chased the Thousand Suns into the warp. Wolfen have returned, but the 13th Company now stands for all great companies that have been lost and subsequently replaced. So even there's always 12 great companies, and if one is destroyed, it's still replaced eventually. Yeah. But the 13th is like kind of this remembered company. It's the company of the remembered, basically. So those are the great companies of the Space Wolves. There's a lot of character there. There's also a lot of overlap, which you have to expect when someone decides, let's do 12. I'm sure the writers are like, 12, really?
Really?
12.
I've got 12 ideas. Are you nuts? Yeah.
So, there's some obvious picks in here as far as, idiom. But there is some great character. And again, that character is defined by the Wolf Lord. Just keep that in mind, and you won't go wrong, I think. So Jason, which one do you want to do? Which great company are you going to do when Big Jim starts his podcast?
Oh man, you're doing Grimbloods. I
mean, I could do a different one.
Yeah, but I'm not going to take that from you. I don't know. The Sea Wolves seemed quite interesting, and the Iron Wolves seemed really interesting.
Iron Wolves do seem interesting.
Yeah.
Like the Sea Wolves, you could do all the flyers, which are awesome.
Yeah.
They're like longboats.
Yeah. There was another one though there's a couple. I would want to make sure and maybe add for each of my Marines, like maybe extra, heraldry saying, yeah, he's in, Sea Wolves, but he was over here for a bit, or over there, or add in some add in some stuff that doesn't actually reference some of the other great companies, meaning that he might have been with a great company that's no longer in existence. There's some interesting stuff that could be done pretty quickly. So
yeah. I agree. I'm with you on that one. I think the Grimbloods have always kind of been the group I've been wanting to try. I think their heraldry is cool. I think their lord is cool, and the fact that there isn't a actual miniature for Kiara Grimblood means I can. Oh, you can go nuts. I can almost do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Although I think he did used to have rules, so I would have to look up. I would look up somewhere, try to find where that is. Yeah. But at any rate. It almost might be a situation where I have a rune priest as the Jarl, as the Lord.
Yeah.
Which would be fine. I wouldn't mind that because you can do anything. He's a wolf lord. Well, he's also a Jarl, or he's also a rune priest. I might actually even use what's his name? I forgot his name. Anyways, their chief librarian guy, their big rune priest guy. That way, I could give him the belt of Russ or whatever. Give him an invul save or whatever, and get him up there in the thick of things, breathing fire on people. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, well, what is it? His data or his lore is that he's an accomplished soothsayer and mystic. So
exactly.
You could say, "Hey, wolf priest," real easy.
Yep. And then use give him just the right relic to give him a wolf lordy feel, even if he's not an actual wolf lord. And then give him a cool like bodyguard or something that'll help out. And then just put all of that into Land Raider Redeemer. What could possibly go wrong?
There's so many jokes there I'm going to leave alone. Okay.
Or two. What is better than one Land Raider Redeemer? Two Land Raider Redeemers.
That's right.
I'm sure that's a great matched play list that can't be hurt at all by any super laser guns. Anyways, everybody, I think that's good. Thank you so much, Jason. Let's take a quick break, come back, and close out the shoe.
Hey Archons, tired of the boring predictability and efficiency of stuff that always works? You need the Slip Party Bus! Got an extra 473 points that you can't find a solid use for? You need the Slip Party Bus! You could spend 420 points on 3 reliable Lance Ravagers pumping out 9 Dark Lance shots per turn that'll only give up 3 victory points, or you can drop 473 points on 2 Archons, 8 Slip, and a Raider for 11 victory points. You need the Slip Party Bus! The classic Slip Party Bus. Still awesome. Party Bus! Still hilarious. Party Bus! It's the Slip Party Bus! If you love the Slip Party Bus, you'll want to check out our other exciting products. We have the Rack Wiffle Ball Bat, the Trueborn, and the Blood Bride. Trueborn and Blood Bride models no longer available. The classic Slith Party Bus, still awesome, still hilarious. It's the Slith Party Bus!
All right, and we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. And we have with us today in this segment, Phil. Hey, Phil.
Hi.
Phil is a member of our local Warhammer game group here in the lovely Albany region. Thanks for agreeing to be a part of this, buddy. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me.
We had a fun game with Space Wolves versus the Emperor's Children today. We wanted to try out as much of the new stuff as humanly possible. So we did a 2,000 point match play game. We played the Relic. That was super fun. We decided to go ahead and throw a dog bone in the middle of the battlefield and fight over it.
Literally a milk bone.
Literally a milk bone. Good thing Buddy wasn't in here. He'd be like, "What are you guys doing? You should eat the bone. What's your problem?" So why don't we just talk about the game real quick, and then we'll go into impressions of the army with that knowledge in mind, right? Why don't you tell the listeners, first of all, before we get into that actually, how long have you been playing Warhammer 40,000?
Since 89.
I believe at one point you said
1 year after it started.
Yeah, a year after Warhammer was a thing.
Yeah, it was very, very early on. Slaves of Darkness just came out.
Yeah. Phil's our resident grognard. So
just a bit.
So, Phil, you've been playing Space Wolves for a long time too, right?
Second edition.
So, if anybody is a authority on the Space Wolves, I believe you are it, at least for our region.
I didn't say I was good.
What? I said an authority. I didn't mean winner.
Oh, fair enough.
You can know a lot about something and still be terrible at it. But hey, you're still pretty good, and you're still the person we would want to talk to, because we really don't care about competitive play on this podcast, so that's fine. Why don't you tell everybody what your list was? That way they know kind of the context of our experience.
Well, as anybody who's going to see the codex is going to know, your Supreme Command Detachment's now practically mandatory for Space Wolves.
Yeah, everything is based on where those characters are and their auras. It almost feels like you're playing an Age of Sigmar army.
Yeah, I mean, it's Hero Hammer all over again.
Nice.
I mean, I start the list with Logan Gribnar, Bjorn the Fell-Handed, and I take him in Terminator armor because he's just better.
Mm-hmm. He's awesome.
And there's no reason not to take him in Terminator armor. And that's this. I started the list with that. Then I added 2 Rune Priests just to use one of the new stratagems.
Nice. That was really cool too.
Yeah, it was. I threw in a battle leader because who doesn't like rerolling ones to wound?
Uh-huh.
From there, I took a unit of Wolfguard Terminators. Not how I would optimally arm them, but it's what I've owned since forever.
Yeah.
And then 3 units of Grey Hunters. Kept them small so that I can take a big unit of Blood Claws. Took a pair of Rhinos. And because they're so silly and amazing, 3 Cyber Wolves.
Yes. And the Cyber Wolves did a good job of screening and stuff. They were pretty cool. And I had a hard time deciding whether to split my fire and kill them that way or focus on them. And there were a couple times where I split my fire and they're just like, we don't care. We're spies. We're Cyber Wolves. Bark, bark.
Yeah. 2 wounds, T4. Cheap as chips.
Yeah. They're really cool. And I brought a mainly infantry, Emperor's Children force, all very much mostly, Noise Marines and some Demon Allies. It's the first time I've ever taken 3 battalions before, which was, I still ate up all those command points on Veterans of the Long War because it's such an important stratagem for Chaos Space Marines, especially ones that rely a lot on their shooting. So I thought that worked out really well. I mean, spoiler alert, Phil won the game, but I think
I was surprised.
Yeah, we killed a lot of stuff died.
Oh yeah.
So much died. So why don't you let us? Why don't you
the Long Fangs?
And the Long Fangs.
The useless Long Fangs.
Yeah, they didn't do so great, but I think that was mainly due to the missing. Even with all the
rolling
ability,
2s to hit doesn't help.
Rolling 2 to hit still doesn't help. So But speaking of 2 to hit, the auras that were put out by what was giving you the 2 up to hit? The charging, right?
That's and heroic intervention.
That wasn't even an aura. That was just their generic innate ability. Yeah, the 6. I mean, you can kind of mitigate the 6-inch heroic intervention, but with the way you charge. But if you do try to mitigate it, you're going to get a lot fewer attacks. If you try to stay 6 inches away from those characters. So like, I feel like, that generic ability is very wolfy. What do you think?
Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, it's not quite the fun counterattack, but it's the best thing 8th edition's ever going to get to it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I can see that, where it's like it really focuses on the aggression of the Space Wolves. That generic ability of the 6-inch glorious intervention with the characters and the +1 to hit when they charge or are charged is a very thematic Space Wolfy thing, and it really makes them feel like Space Wolves, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So what stratagems did you build your army today to use?
I tried to get as many as I could, but I lack a couple of them, I guess you'd call staples. I don't own any Wolfen. I don't own any Thunderwolf Cavalry. Mm-hmm. Everything in my army list pretty much has existed since beginning of 3rd edition.
Yeah, but I think a lot of our audience are very much like you, and they have more of a Grey Tide style army too. I mean, not that people don't love Wolfen, but I think folks still want to be able to do the generic I hesitate to say generic, but I think more 30 not 30k, but like 33k.
Old school.
The defense of Fenris kind of like type army.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Again, sorry, I asked you a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the various stratagems. I took the 3rd Rune Priest simply because it gave me the ability to go from to use Living Storm stratagem. For 1 point, I could double my output. And if I kill something, which, surprise, surprise, I didn't, it could have jumped and killed more stuff.
I like that stratagem against like Imperial Guard, who impetuously have all these like 4 wound characters standing next to each other.
Oh yeah, or 3 wound stuff too. Just jumping from unit to unit to unit and just decimating their little aura bubbles of.
It'd be so great. I'm just smiling. I'm smiling inside just thinking about it. That crackling energy, like Fenrisian energy, just jumping from unit to unit and vaporize them to dust. It's a good thought.
Yeah, I've played a lot of games where if I could have done that, even Death Guard would suffer horribly from that.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Those little bell guys with the bell wings.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, if they don't do their feel no pains, even worse, like some of the Space Marine armies with just 5-man units, you could get lucky and start ripping through them, and it's that weird make. The aspect of the Space Wolves is, and how it's tied to the earth and tied to like nature. I think that like that stratagem and all of the powers really, really harken to that. And I mean, they kind of always have, but you still want to see that in 8th edition and things like Jaws of the World Wolf. Great.
Yeah, the powers from the index didn't change much. I mean, Tempest Wrath became what a version was, so it's no longer the, bad little version of the Dark Angels. So
and that's the one that's a -1 on turn 1?
That's the -1 to hit. You just pick a unit 2 feet away and say, don't hit me.
Oh, that is really cool. That is really, really cool.
And then if you combine that with the stratagem I forgot to use, but it turned out it didn't matter in our game, which it says succeed a psychic power, and all of a sudden everybody within 6 inches of that psyker is also -1 to hit.
That is amazing, and that's another one of those aura ability. And that, like these stratagems are really, really cool. What else? What other things were you looking to use this game, Phil?
Well, one of the things that I saw immediately just jumped out at me was Lone Wolf.
Oh,
they took the unit away, but they gave it back in a better form.
Yeah, because anybody can be a Lone Wolf at this point.
How many times have you played a game and you lose everybody except one lone model, and you're sitting there with this, maybe a guy with a melt-a-gun, and you're thinking, he's useless. Maybe I'll screen characters with him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for 1 point, you just spend it, and all of a sudden he gets 2 more wounds, and he rerolls all failed to hit for the rest of failed to hit and failed to wound for the rest of the game.
And he ended up killing. What did he kill? He killed a demon. Did he kill the demon prince?
No, he killed the was it the Lord or the Champion? That was
yeah. Because like I remember he had the lightning claws, right? Oh, that was the
no, it was the axe and plasma pistol.
The axe and Yeah. He killed the
sorcerer.
Finished off. He finished off the champion or the exalted champion of Slaanesh. Yeah, great work. Oh, speaking of that, this isn't a stratagem, but the relic that makes someone go last.
Oh yeah,
what was that?
That was the Armor of Ross. It's a 4-up invulnerable save, so you give it to one of your characters that either has a garbage invulnerable save or doesn't have one, like your Wolfguard battle leaders.
Yo, those Wolfguard battle leaders.
Oh yeah,
they're the ones that give the reroll to wound, right?
The reroll ones to wound. Yes.
Like it in other armies, the lieutenant, or if you're British, lieutenant, is okay, but in a Space Wolf army, it becomes like make or break, especially for you because your dice suck.
Yeah, I roll ones like it's nobody's business.
So what was it? The Armor of Rust, that stuff.
Yeah, you just pick an enemy unit within an inch, and it goes last. If it has the ability to go first, it loses the 2 abilities cancel each other out, and it just goes normal.
It goes normal. So, like with my Emperor's Children, if I charge, then or if it's my turn, then they act as a regular unit. So on my turn, it doesn't matter as much because I always get to pick at least one of my already fighting units to go. But if you break in with a command point, you still get to go before that unit. And that was really huge against Lucius. That was really huge. That armor, it almost won you. I think it almost kind of won you the game.
No, it did. It saved Grimnar, who provided me that lovely little reroll to hit bubble for most of my army.
The whole game. That because you want to keep them all tight. You want to keep those characters tight with all the other units so that they can provide their benefits. So like, and having Grimnar at the heart of that, providing all those rerolls and him just being a Billy badass the entire time. Oh, so great.
And with the +1 to hit on the charge, he doesn't even have to think about, do I go one-handed or two-handed? No, I just go two-handed because I'm still hitting on twos.
Yeah. Oh, and it feels so wolfy too. Like they all run as a pack.
Yeah.
Right? They run as a giant wolf pack. It makes so much sense from a thematic perspective.
And the Armor of Rust actually really pairs well with the, which one was it? Yeah, it pairs well with the Saga of the Warrior Born, which basically lets you count as charging. So if only one opponent unit charges you, you can say, okay, I've got the Saga of Warrior Born with the model that counts as charging, and the Armor of Rust says you go last, so even though you charge me, I swing first.
That is awesome. Yeah, there's so much in there. Is there anything that surprised you that was good? Like, is there anything in there that you're like, I was not expecting that, and this is amazing?
The Saga of Majesty proved to be actually a lot better than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Basically, it's a 12-inch bubble of no morale.
Oh.
And both Bjorn and Logan Grimnar, that's their warlord trait. Also, for Null, if you take him as your warlord. But you sit there and you go back and forth. Do I want Bjorn because he's got the bigger face and I'll get more bang for my buck? But I ended up going with Grimnar, and that made all the difference because it let me send Bjorn off on the flank because he gets the reroll ones to hit, which since he hits on twos, look at that, reroll to hit.
And he has that 8-inch movement, which all the Space Wolf character dreadnoughts have. I think the regular, I think the what do you call it? The Wolfen dreadnought is also 8 inches. I think.
Yeah, all the dreadnoughts I think are 8.
I think the regular one is only 6. But I really think that having Logan be your warlord, and with that warlord trait saved you several models.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, every time you reduced one of my squads by 4 guys, it was just like, oh, well, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, you don't have to worry. And I think if you're running Blood Claws and stuff too, as your screens or whatever, I think that's going to be a really important, because they're standing next to Logan freaking Grimnar. Of course they're fearless.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that surprised me was Blood Claws, while they're still the same cost as Grey Hunters, and if you can't do math, they look to be about on par, but it turns out the Bolter's better than the +1 attack on the charge. Well, they actually have a stratagem that says, if your power rating's higher than them, they get to reroll the wound. And when you combine that with Cunning of the Wolf, letting you walk in off any table edge, it really gives you a little bit more flexibility they never had before.
Yeah, and they can still take a bunch of weird special weapons, right?
Not so much. I mean, just the Wolf Guard pack leader and their commander guy. And then
still, that's something you can use against something that's a higher power level than you.
Right.
You know, like a fist or whatever, chain fist. Can you put a chain fist on a battle leader?
Sadly, no.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It would.
That would be really awesome.
Well, you can if you take the Terminator battle leader.
That's what I was thinking of.
But he's 3 power levels instead of 2.
Yeah.
So it's kind of do I take the Terminator and risk having fewer options?
Yeah, good point. So I love the Blood Claws and yeah, can you outflank with any model or
any
just
infantry?
That is so awesome.
Yeah, it's actually really good for Wolfen if you're kind of worried your opponent's going to try to snipe him out. I can see like bringing him in off the side flank and hugging that one short edge of the table. And then the Wolfen's little bubble of either, reroll or failed charges or give you the +1 attack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a very nice little combo right there.
And not only that, I think, the outflanking with the Wolfen, them running out on a kind of like a hunting mission makes a lot of sense to me. Is there anything special for the scouts? I feel like, the ability for anybody to outflank makes me feel like the scouts are less special, unless they just get that naturally.
Well, the scouts have that behind the enemy lines, where basically they just have that stratagem for free.
Okay, so that's why you would take those,
but they're not scouts like the regular Space Marines with the 4+.
Yeah.
They actually are like veterans.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's right. That's the way it's always been. They're actually like normal Space Marines in scout armor, but the Wolf Claws or the Blood Claws are the ones with the lower ballistic skill.
Right, which really hurts when you're looking at some of their outflanking in the.
Yeah, you're not shooting. You're walking in and assaulting with them, and hopefully getting them in close for assault, not shooting. Right. Okay. So is there anything that you were hoping would be in the Codex, but what is like a missed opportunity?
The big one was the Primaris stuff. I mean, a bunch of the Primaris have just your generic power weapon options. And since everybody who's ever played or played against a Space Wolf army knows, your power weapon and your frost weapons differ in paint job alone.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally the same piece of plastic, or if you have the old models, metal.
Yeah.
So they could have just said, the Primaris can upgrade his power sword to a frost sword.
Yeah.
And it would have been, not too big of a deal. It wouldn't have required any new model being made. It would just been extra fluffy wolfness.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Now, I did see that the Intercessor, the Primaris Troops guy, they can actually have chain swords.
Only on the sergeant.
Only on the sergeant?
Yeah, not the whole squad sad. like we thought.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, they were looking to be like Grey Hunter style intercessors at first, and then
that would be so
made Justice Army.
Too bad. Okay, so I think that's true. I think that if you're looking to wolf out your Primaris Marines, I think they feel a little milquetoast, which maybe we'll see an improvement in that as we go forward, and the range is expanded on in the next iteration of codexes.
Probably.
But for now, I think you have a lot of really awesome tools at your disposal that you can play this army the way you want to, and it can feel very Space Wolfy.
But the Primaris Battle Leader, I have to say, does get a power axe by default, simply because of the new box set model, and that's nice.
Yeah, that's a cool box set. Speaking of, that looks really nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any Genestealer Cult?
I don't have any modern Genestealer Cult. I just have the stuff that kind of just fits into my guard army and says, okay, now you guys are Gene Stealer Cold Guard.
Maybe you need to talk to Josh and Dark Eldar Josh, and ask him if he wants to split that box set with you, because there's some cool Space Wolves in there.
Oh no, that would just be the excuse to push my Gene Stealer.
There you go. And that would be a much more interesting kill team list than 3 Lictors.
4.
Oh, I'm sorry, 4 Lictors.
Well, the math works out. They're 25 points each. You get a 100-point kill team.
Is that Logan calling saying next time try to make sure I don't die?
Probably.
All right, man. Is there anything you want to add about the codex that you think people will want to hear?
If you're looking at the index and wondering how much you have to change, very little has changed in the book. I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't overhaul, because they were kind of suffering in the index. Instead, they just lowered the power levels, adjusted some points here and there. Some of the units just got massive discounts for no good reason, like Bjorn, for instance. He got cheaper, just as good as ever.
And the great thing is he's a character with 8 wounds.
Oh, yeah.
So he can't be singled out with regular shooting.
Just like Murderfang.
And Murderfang. I think we're going to see those guys show up at our store a lot. Aren't we?
At least for me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was referring to. So, okay, cool. And it's really the stratagems and the warlord traits that are taking them just a little bit farther than that. That's giving them the boost they need.
That and that 1 in 8 Hunters Unleashed rule that gives you the +1 to hit.
Yeah.
That alone.
That is so important.
Was the major fix they needed.
And once again, I just want to reiterate it. It's not just the competitive nature, but the actual, like, making them feel like this hunter's pack of the Emperor's, like, executioners. And I think that's they run as a pack, they fight as a pack, and they take down enemies, like a freaking steamroller across the battlefield. And I think that's what we want.
And if for those who play 1,000 Suns who have the Space Wolf stratagem, they actually have Emperor's executioners just for fighting 1,000 Suns.
I can't wait to see that on the battlefield. You definitely need to play James next.
Yes.
You should see if James is available to play next week, and you should play him. Play his 1,000 Suns versus your Space Wolves.
Have to have a rematch.
Cool. Yeah. All right, guys. Phil, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. All right, guys. We'll be right back.
Come here, boy. Get the ball. Come on, Max. Get the ball. Mom, Max won't get the ball. He's lazy.
I think I know why your Zote is being lazy, Jenny.
Why, Mom?
Because you forgot to feed him his Zotobix today.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Zotobix contains all the nutrients and random animal parts a growing Zote craves. It not only provides our Zote with the energy it needs to play with you and protect our home, but it also keeps its chitinous shell fresh and shiny.
Oh boy, I'd better feed Max his Zotobix.
Yes, you had.
Zotobix is made in part from grade A Astra
dinner.
Militarum post-engagement byproduct and is infused with 112 essential vitamins and
Max,
minerals
down.
harvested from your Zote's natural habitat, the finest desert deserts. Zotobix is available in any shopping center on worlds where Zotes are allowed or where the Imperium's inexorable influence has not yet reached. Jason.
Yo.
It's noon. Do you know what that means?
I don't know.
It means
what does it mean?
I'm hungry like the wolf.
Oh, good. I was wondering if we could go through and sneak another one of those in there.
I could really use some kibble. I'm hungry for kibble. That's what I want. Let me see if Buddy has any extra kibble he'd like to share with me. He'll be like, what's going on? Usually you share with me. I don't understand why you would want this. This is disgusting. Go make me some bacon, jerk.
Shouldn't I have a piece of cheese? Where's the cheese?
Yeah, where's the cheese?
Yeah.
Where's the cheese? Yes.
Yeah.
So today I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to the tractor pull which
I haven't been to one of those in a
and
long
then
time.
and tomorrow is the Demolition Derby, and all of this is going to be perfect research for my upcoming orc projects.
Yes, it is.
Everybody, please go onto iTunes and leave us a nice review, or a 1-star review, whatever, or leave us a 5-star review and just still be jerks to us. That would be fine as well.
Or be a jerk to Big Jim. Tell him he needs to get on that Space Wolf Chaos Space Marine.
What's the name of it's gonna? What could it possibly be called? Lords of Darkness, because both use the word Lord in their characters' names. I have Lords of the Imperium, Lords
of Mangy Darkness,
Lords of War.
Oh, well, there you go.
Duh. Okay, Jim, you got your podcast name. Anyways, also check us out on Twitter, Masters of Forge on Twitter. I'm a lot more active on there than I was. I'm following a lot of people. It's a problem. And also, we're on Facebook. Go to Facebook and search for Masters of the Forge. You'll find us.
Instagram, # Masters of the Forge. I will start posting pictures again. It's been difficult with moving, but I know where my macromat is.
Do you know where your macromat is?
I do. It's, it's near the booth that validates parking. They sell chili dogs there.
They do sell chili dogs there. You're right. Chili. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hey, one last dog reference. Good job. Good job, dude. I appreciate that. Awesome. Next time we talk, I have no idea what we're going to talk about because I'm lazy. But until then,
play the game the way you want to.
Bark, 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 bark. Oh wait, no, we should do. Do you have a synthesizer with the dog? With the dog setting? My grandma used to have one.
No,
because that would be amazing
don't.
if you could feed in the notes to the Mr. Rogers theme.
Oh God!
Bark, 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 bark. Bark, 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 bark.
We'll leave that.
Peace out.
It's such a good feeling to play games your way. It's such a happy feeling 40K'ing away. And when you throw dice with story in mind, it's such a wonderful way to unwind. It's a good feeling, a very good feeling, the feeling you know that we'll be back when the fortnight's new, and we'll have new ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. We will too.